This is the Hidden Leaf Village's handsome devil, Rock Lee, and you're watching Anime Egotists. After this, you can do 51 sit-ups or watch all 51 episodes of Rock Lee and his ninja pals. Rock Lee. Leaf Hurricane!
And welcome back to the Anime Egotists, where I don't feel like we would pass the tuning exams.
No, we'd join the old guys forever getting.
Yeah, but he seems like a nice guy. Anyways, my name's Alex, and I don't understand why I always have to insert my credit card with a chip. Because there's a thing that says I can swipe it, and if I insert it like 3 or 4 times, it'll just say, swipe it anyway. So what's the point? What's the point? It takes too long. We all know how it's going to happen. I have the money for it. Just live with it.
Okay. Well, it's for security, but we'll talk about that afterwards when you give me all your credit card information anyway.
I mean, if that helps.
And I'm Richard.
That's correct. And, you know, every now and then we talk about anime video games, and we talk about Naruto. We talked about what our dream Naruto game would be like, which holds up in some regards, but also doesn't hold up, really.
Yeah, we've talked about doing a sequel or redoing that one, so that may be in the cards for the future.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, whenever people say, oh, a dream Naruto game with a create-your-own-character type of thing, we like to figure, what would our characters be like?
Exactly. There's so many different clans, powers, abilities that you can have from this universe that, I mean, it's hard just picking, like, a handful of abilities and jutsus and stuff like that, so, but, I don't know, I'm really interested to see what you've created.
Yeah, so basically we wanted to kind of run it down. What clans would we be from? The Kekkei, Genkai, or however the heck you pronounce it. Jutsu, just certain abilities. That sort of thing.
Exactly. So, do you want to start us off with what clan or clans you're from?
Okay, yeah, but before I begin, just anybody, if you feel free to do this along. Don't worry about if you've come up with something that everybody else has come up with, because I kind of try to avoid that, but just do what you can. And before you ask, no, I didn't include any of Mecha Naruto's powers, because as awesome as those were, I just didn't pick it.
Yeah, we did include filler episodes. If you wanted one of their abilities, you could take those as well, though. It's just those counted if it's an actual jutsu, not. And
I included video games, but very, very few, like maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, I think I have 1 maybe.
Okay. So, should we just start off with clans?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, so, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of struggled with this one. I thoroughly actually struggled with this one, if I was being completely honest. But I kind of picked 2, like, the coming together of 2 clans, like we talked about beforehand. The first clan that would kind of work, the Yuki clan.
Okay.
You know this clan just based on the name?
Isn't that, Haku's clan?
Very good.
Okay.
So, yeah, most of us are probably gone. But at the same time, I'd like to think to myself, you know... So I guess that actually leads to my Kekkei Genkai, Ice, because it's really cool. Pun somewhat intended. I don't know, I always found this super cool, and I wouldn't just want to do, oh, well, you get fire, you get wind. Like, those are all cool and everything, but I'd like to think maybe you could master at least, like, 2, maybe all of them somehow, but I feel like that should be ridiculously difficult, but...
It's like Kage. Nice. Yeah, mastering all of them is like Kage. You can have, like, 2 of the elements mastered, maybe yin and yang release, and maybe proficient in another one, if you're like a Jonin or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like to think, because when you look through, like, other forms, not just the Abusa and Haku arc, when you look through other stuff, they learn some pretty awesome techniques. Like they're a dragon, and you can summon tigers, you can, like... It's good for stealth, despite the fact that it could very easily just be a case of, it got noticeably colder, so I think somebody with ice is around us, because that's how it works, apparently. But I just thought ice would be super cool.
Yeah, and it's one of the rarer ones because we only see, I think from the main series, we only really see Haku using it. And then there's the movie Land of Ice movie, and that's kind of it for ice type jutsu users. So that isn't a very unique one to have.
Yeah, so I'm gonna need you to protect me because they're gonna be people coming after me. But then again, I guess what else is new?
All right. You said you had a second clan as well, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be completely honest. I flip flopped on this. I had because I'm struggling, but I kind of just flipped a coin with this one. The Aburame clan.
Okay.
Insects, they're cool, and it could be used for stealth. Plus, I'd like to think, oh, I can use my insect powers when people are like, oh, okay, we need help. But then when things get really dangerous, and I kind of have to divulge, oh, I have ice powers too. Fine. Plus, I'd like to think the other Toromol ale, and there could be some comedic moments of my insects being like, yeah, this cold is not working for us, buddy. Can you, like, fix that?
Yeah, that's interesting. So, I'm assuming you also did a little bit of research, because there's actually very few Kekkei Genkais that are revealed in this series.
Oh, they're terrible. It's kind of pathetic.
Yeah, but then there's what are called the hidden techniques, which are like clan-specific techniques, which is the insect jutsu.
Yeah.
So I can understand that. So that's an interesting combination. Yeah.
Like I said, I was thoroughly struggling. Like I didn't want to go Uchiha because in my opinion, like as cool as it is, it's like, oh, everybody's gonna say that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. All right. So for my clan, I actually only picked one. I debated combining two specifically, but
you do.
I chose not to in the end. I thought the combination might be a little overpowered in the end if I had chosen it, like way stronger than it should be, and that would have originally been the Nara and the Hyuga clans combined. It seems like that could be a really, really weird combination, but it would actually be overpowered in the end.
Okay, yeah. So which one did you decide on?
I decided on the Nara clan. I like the shadow possession jutsus a lot. So in the end with mine, I don't actually have a Kekkei Genkai, but I have access to all the hidden techniques of the shadow possession, shadow stitching, and shadow strangle, and all their different forms that you have.
Can I suggest a Kekkei Genkai for you that we've talked about before?
Okay.
I don't specifically remember the name of it, but Kimimaru's with the bones and stuff.
That could be interesting. I looked at that, but they're a clan that's not well defined, and well, at least from the English dub, what I remember is that they killed themselves pretty much. So,
I mean, on the one hand, yeah, I mean, it's not like my clan's doing better. Almost all of us are dead.
Yeah, that's true. But I chose just to stick with the Nara clan.
Either that or steel or boiling.
It could be interesting, but I'll go into more detail because I gave myself some other non-Kekkei Genkai jutsus and stuff that may make up for it. So I think that I made a good strong character for the overall.
Yeah, except you have the drawback of giving up in certain fights because that seems to run in the family.
Well, there's that, but there's also the hyper intelligence that they seem to all possess.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, I mean, I'll still never understand how Shikamaru has an IQ of over 200, yet he still can't fully understand the women of his life. I don't even know how to read, so that's not gonna, so... What are you gonna do?
Yeah, but we're always the advisors to everybody else, so...
Alright. Hey, I'm gonna be honest, I figured you would say the Inuzuka clan because you got dogs and stuff.
I thought about them a little bit, but I don't know, I really like the Nara clan, and I actually did come up with kind of another way of including some dog-like stuff, so we'll go over that in a little while, though.
Okay, yeah. But should we... Okay, so, since this isn't really a list like we normally do, I'm gonna be honest. I researched this for hours. I researched this for so long, and no matter what I looked up, no matter who I asked, no matter what message boards I looked at, I don't know what category this fell in, what this set of jutsu fell into.
Okay.
And that is, I'd want sound jutsu.
That's probably either an air release, or a wind release, or a yin or yang release. I can't remember which.
Okay, so if you want to get on me and be like, oh, you're so overpowered, just know I'm not trying to do this on purpose. I'm legitimately just trying to figure this out. Because some people say, oh, you just use your chakra, or then some people are like, no, you just use the wind. But let's just pretend it makes sense. For now, let's just pretend it makes sense. I just thought the idea of sound abilities were so flippin' cool, and the fact that nobody ever really used them kind of bothered me. Especially considering Dosu versus Shoji, as quick as a fight as that was, and kind of anticlimactic in some ways, Dosu taught me as a kid early on. It's like, yeah, it's cool that you try to hide your ears, it's not a bad strategy. But 70% of your body is made of water, so sound makes that really easily. So I just figure if it does work with wind, and since ice is wind and water, it could sound could really help.
Yeah, that's an interesting one to add. And it is, I mean, it really hasn't been used since the original Chunin exam story. Maybe one or two people have it as like a filler arc or a side character for something, but we don't see him as like the big upfront villain or a new ally for the main part of the story. So yeah, I can understand wanting that power.
Yeah, and apparently somebody in Boruto used her hair for that power, so I guess they're just kind of flying by the seat of their pants. Like, who knows? Just use sound, anything.
Well, I mean, they let a guy use a puppet from outside the stadium to, in one of the tuning exams, from what I remember, so...
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Also, I'd like to think that... You remember Zabuza's water prison technique thing?
Yes.
And I'd like to think that if I did that, or something like Kisame when he's like shoots a bunch of water and surrounds people in it, then I could just be like, so, are you ready to give us that information we need for the Hokage? Nope. Oh, alright. And I put my hand and just sound just flies through the water. So, I'm probably doing long-term horrible damage, but I have a mission to do, so...
Okay.
Maybe my story is I have to try to be nicer to people, because I'm ruining people's lives.
Yeah. So, this is just a guess. So, I know, based on the jutsus you've told me so far, you have to have water release, and I think it's air release, or wind release for
wind,
ice.
That's right.
So, are those, do you have any more? I know you have it probably yin or yang release for maybe sound or something.
I did not. I didn't want to make my character too ridiculous, which is probably already failing at this point, because people are going to be like, how do you not know that sound jutsu? Blah, 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 blah. Not... Where were y'all when I was researching this?
Exactly. I don't know. Yeah, that's an interesting combination. Yeah, because that would work as like a good torture, imprisonment, get what you need from them by causing damage through sound waves. Because you're right, it wasn't. I mean, what was it? He just put his hand on Choji, kind of, and sent the sound waves through.
He did have some type of weapon that like made it stronger, but I'd like to think, okay, I don't know where to get one of those things, so I guess I'll just use my hands, my hair, I don't know. Like I said, they never expounded on it, and it made me kind of sad. But until they do, maybe sound.
Okay. Yeah, I may have gone a little overboard on my releases, but as I said, I don't really have a Kekkei Genkai on mine, so I had to give myself Yin release because that is what where Shadow Possession and its forms come from. So that one was a need. I actually gave myself Lightning release as my nature affinity, but I also gave myself 3 proficiencies, just ones that I may not be as good about, and that was water release to enhance my lightning, fire release, which allows me to create shadows by lighting a fire behind me, extends the shadows outwards from there.
Nice.
And yang release, but that yang release is specifically because I think I gave myself one of the most overpowered jutsus in the thing.
Oh no.
The Flying Thunder God.
Oh, so Kirin?
Yeah, the one where specifically what the yellow Minato uses, the Flying Thunder God.
Oh no, I was thinking Kirin like Sasuke shoots. No, that's my bad. Go ahead.
No, Flying Thunder God, the one Minato uses to teleport, pretty much. I just wanted that one. That was one of my absolute favorite jutsus.
And I take it you'd have the kunai with you and everything?
Yes, of course. It's how.
Okay, I didn't know if you just meant you like want to modify it to something else, because I'd like to think I'd have a sword with me. I just don't know what type of sword.
It's I don't know. This is one of the most. I don't know how I would implement it. I mean, it allows me to get in close range or with other people, and which enhances the shadow possession jutsus because in close proximity it lasts longer versus the farther out you go, unless you have longer shadows. So this just that's kind of how I was figuring it would be used. It's like, okay, I can now get in close range, and now I can instantly have them in shadow strangle.
Yeah. Would it be safe to say we would both have clone jutsu? Because I feel like everybody does. I didn't feel like including it because it's just so obvious.
Yeah, I specifically picked out water clone jutsu because it seems like, okay, of the releases I have, I could technically, I guess, do shadow clone or just a regular clone, but it's like, well, I've got water release, let's use that.
I can understand that. But as for me, I just went with wind and water. I didn't want to get too crazy. I just sort of figured, I have ice. Let's just say ice. Any ice jutsu, I can just do that and probably fail tremendously at it.
Yeah, I kind of designed this character, having studied under Kakashi after my idea for this character was Kakashi's retiring from being Hokage. But he wants to run a handful of Anbu for himself, and he specifically trains my character. So my lightning releases are based on his Chidori and stuff. I'm not able to do them like him and Sasuke, where they can do them multiple times a day, like a lot. I'm kind of at like Sasuke's original level 2 or 3 times a day, and that's about my limit in chakra, because I can't give myself too much chakra without being so overpowered. I
also came up with a weakness for me, for a pretty glaring weakness for me, but I'll get to that at another point. Okay, hey, so I didn't completely come up with a story for my. I guess I just figured, he's one of the last people who can use ice techniques, and I guess I just figured I don't necessarily think orphan, but maybe I just get found in the village or something like that, and. I honestly figured the sound village would probably be my home, but at the same time, while everybody's getting experimented on and their lives are being ruined, I'm thinking to myself, maybe what we're doing is kind of messed up. I know we're trying to survive listening to Orochimaru, and I'm not going to mess with that guy because he's terrifying. But I'd like to think that maybe there could be different timelines in this. Like maybe you're part of the sound trio, or you're just following behind, or something like that.
Okay, so you're like so they're supposed to be the Jonin, so let's say you're a high-ranking Chunin or something?
Maybe something like that. Heck, maybe I'm not technically a Genin yet some way, hypothetically. This is gonna sound weird, but I've talked about Dosu a lot, and how he basically just got killed by Gaara for no reason. Maybe instead of that, he's like, okay, I could use you. I'm gonna help you survive, because if you're not useful to me, I'm going to kill you. Got it? And I'm like, sure.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think. As I said, trained by Kakashi is kind of the big story element of mine. As I said, eventually leading to an Anbu team that is an Inoshika-cho kind of combination. It makes sense. It's one of the biggest normal combinations that we always see in the series. So,
yeah. Do you have summonings? Because I have one.
That is actually part of Kakashi's training. Was I got his ninja hounds?
I should have known. I should have known at that point, because mine's just the summoning giant clam.
Okay, that's an interesting one.
It uses mist. Water works with mist. I want it, even if I'm ridiculously strong, I want it to kind of make sense. Emphasis on kind
of. Yeah, I just, as I said, I picked the Ninja Hounds as part of the backstory for being with Kakashi. They also seem like they would be a good team to use for, because it's like the standard Inoshika-cho formation for my character. there's not really a tracker in that mix. So having this would allow us to have a tracker without having to bring in a whole nother team with people from all the other clans that seem to be specialists.
I feel like you would just summon those dogs. Not even like, do we have a mission? No, I just need company. I want to pet a dog, and they're like, behind the ears.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course. I mean, Haku is amazing about that.
It's just like, I'll let you, like, if you go with us, I'll let you touch my paw. And Shikamaru's like, I don't want to go.
I'm just like, whatever, as I'm touching the paw.
Yeah, okay. I do have what I've kind of talked about this jutsu before. The Crescent Moon Dance.
Okay, that's the sword jutsu that we only saw the once.
Yeah, we saw it once and it wasn't very effective. But I looked it up, it's like, oh, well, you can hit vital spots and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. And then we just never saw it again. And plus, I'd like to think it works with clones.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I can tell you one other jutsu I have.
Go ahead.
Frilled neck jutsu.
Okay.
Okay, Toby uses this technique against Kakashi, Naruto, and the others, and they start backing up. He makes the hand signs, and he does frilled neck lizard jutsu, or whatever it's called. It's just this. It's just a mess. Come on. You can't tell me, you wouldn't expect me to just troll people and just be like, oh, no, this is all this technique does.
Okay. Yeah. As I said, a lot of my jutsus are kind of tied with Kakashi's lightning blade. That's kind of my go-to are the lightning jutsus. Water is, as I said, mostly going to be used to enhance it, so it's water jutsus that like flood an area suddenly that allows me to just like I could stick my hand straight down instead of in front or into the person and electrocute them that way. So I have like water dragon that Kakashi learned from Kisame. It's like,
well,
or not Kisame, Zabuza. That's who he's got. It's like, here you go, have this jutsu. It's like the one major water jutsu I know. I have a couple other ones that just send water, but it's like my only attacking water jutsu.
Yeah, I can understand that. I hope the dogs you're with don't have to deal with this sort of thing, because this seems rough for anybody who has to fight alongside you.
Very true. This is probably like we've done everything we can. We may not be able to beat them in a direct fight, so let's just do this from a distance.
Oh dang! I just realized I probably, if I had time, I probably would have switched out the Aburame clan. As much as I love them.
Okay, what would you have possibly done instead?
Suigetsu's clan.
Oh, okay, so turn into water.
Yeah, it works a little better. Plus, they can do the thing where they can just turn themselves into water and just basically that.
But if you did that, then you'd kind of have to be from the land of water in the village hidden in the mist.
Maybe I get kidnapped. Remember, I'm in the Sound Village, just dirt. And then Dosu's like, okay, here, let me teach you some stuff. Because you'll be around for a while to teach me, right? Maybe like 2 more episodes, and then I gotta go.
Yeah, I'll kick one of the main heroes' butts for a while.
Works for me. Yeah, I'm gonna be 100% honest. Like I said, I tried to avoid Yakugan, Renegon, Sharingan. I tried to avoid all of that because it didn't sit well for me.
As I said, I debated the Hyuga. I knew while I like the Uchiha, it makes very little sense to pick them because there's like none of them around. So it's like, okay, congratulations, you're the 20th surviving Uchiha we found. Yeah, you know how Sasuke was like the one survivor minus his brother? Yeah, now there's like 20 of you, so go have fun.
I was about to say that completely would ruin Sasuke's motivations and everything, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. So as I said, I also gave myself fire, but this is one that I only learned just one basic jutsu, and that's the fireball jutsu, just so I can create a fire behind me if I need to extend my shadows farther. It's not really meant for, I don't use it for combat too much because I'm not proficient in it. It's just there to help me get longer shadows.
Yeah, I can get that. And if you're going with water dragons, then I'm going with water sharks.
Okay.
No real reason, no real reasons. I just think sharks are cool. And whenever one of them would finish somebody off, as they come back to me, I just thought of like, who's a good boy? Who's a good? Oh, son of a bitch! That hurt.
It bit me.
No, that's just how it shows love. Sakura, stop crying. Stop crying. He just likes you. Stop crying. Stop it.
Just because that's your head doesn't mean it doesn't love you.
Yeah, come on. Come on, you can heal yourself. Get up. Uh-oh. Nurse?
She was the nurse.
Well, that's unfortunate. Oh, okay, I don't remember the specific name of this technique. Maybe you could help me out with it? But
Okay.
I would want whatever that technique that Orochimaru, Mitsuki, and maybe a couple of other people use where they stretch their limbs out.
I don't remember what it's called. I know it's the Namekian ability, because
Shit, let's just call it that for now. Hell, I don't know. I always just thought it was cool, just especially because whenever I first saw this, I always thought, oh, whenever I first see people like stretching their arms out, I'm like, oh, this is so lame. But Orochimaru and Mitsuki find a way of doing it that make me think, oh, this is cool. Well, especially consider soft physique modification. That's what it's called.
yep.
I don't know. The video games in particular just made it cool, especially since certain attacks you can heal yourself with. Not a lot, but a little bit.
Yeah. As I said, I didn't. I'm not adding anything really more in the way of overpowered jutsus, because just having the Chidori is one of the most powerful electric jutsus that they had in the series. So that's kind of my, as I said, my bread and butter. I will have some basic combat with like the sword that the Anbu carry, because as I said, Kakashi trained kind of my team at the end as he was retiring as his Anbu. So
Good lord, Kakashi's gonna have a lot to deal with.
of course.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, I do feel like I'd have a major weakness.
Okay.
I think part of the thing for me, part of the thing for me is if it's not, because we talk about the Yuki clan, like they make things colder. I feel like under like any amount of hot temperatures or anything like that, or we're not near like air, like I'd like to think I'd start off like, and this is completely flying at the seat of my pants at this point. But at first, I need water around me. I need to really be effective. If I'm knocked away from the water when I'm first training, I'm like, oh god, I am doomed. I am doomed. Also, I'd like to think that if my swords get knocked away, I'm like, I have nothing to fight with, because that's half my stuff. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. So you absolutely cannot visit the village hidden in the sand, pretty much.
No, I'm like, oh, why don't you come with us to the sand? No, that's okay. But no.
I kind of I didn't necessarily think of a big weakness. I'd say maybe I'd almost have like a not quite a stronger personality, but while I have the intelligence of most of the Nara clan, I'm even more lazier than normal. Just
That is horrifying.
like they like I do my duty and all that, but if it's just if it's something that it's like, hey, here's a C ranked mission, it's like pass.
Oh god. Yeah, I feel like you and I would not get along because I'd be very absent-minded. It's just like, oh wait, I do have one more technique that could work, and I'm like, why didn't you? They're like, why didn't you use that beforehand? I'm like, that's a good point.
Yeah, I'd say like I don't know. With mine, it's just like literally anything that isn't like the best or a really important mission, like Kakashi just goes, okay, well, you're gonna go on this C ranked mission because it might actually be an A rank, kind of like that first mission that they showed in the series. It's like
Yeah, that's right.
it's like pass. I want an S or an A. That at least then I know I'm doing my duty. Is
No, my guy would run up to you and be like, "Nope, that's not how that is not how this works. 500 laps around the village on your hands, and I'd already be starting."
I have a feeling that like Kakashi involved Guy in our training, and it's so annoying for me because I don't want to do any of it, but I still do it for some reason.
Yeah. I'd also like to think that even outside of it, I'd still be able to combine jutsu. Like I'd be like, okay, I have the water technique where I just surround the area with water, but I'm also going to use wind stuff, my wind style to create tornadoes and stuff. It's just like, that's good. But then somebody has to lecture me like, you need smaller jutsu because you're gonna kill everybody around you, and then I have to learn smaller stuff, which is why the crescent moon thing works perfectly. If I, which is weird because apparently everyone's like, no, it's fatal, it's gonna kill somebody. But from what I've heard in research, it's like, no, you could still keep them alive. It's just not fun.
Yeah, they just don't have limbs or head anymore.
Yeah, or at least to the point where I feel like maybe it's not necessarily a case for me. It's like, look, you learned all these horrifying techniques. Maybe you should find a way to make it so you can, I don't know, like do missions without killing everybody around you. And I'm just like, yeah, that makes sense. That's actually fair.
As I said, whenever or I keep using like my combination water and lightning jutsus to electrocute like a large area. People say the same thing, but it's like, well, I could use the Chidori. They're like, but that's fatal.
Oh gosh. Gosh. And you know how the clam can do genjutsu, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would be testing that. I'd be like, you know what, for genjutsu, instead of something horrible and nightmarish, let them live out something really pleasant. Like, not the infinite Tsukuyomi stuff, but just like a really good, like maybe for Naruto I do it, and instead of him being Hokage or something, it's just him having a big bowl of ramen.
Okay, so it's something that would be almost hard to tell that they're in a genjutsu versus like the perfect reality is too obvious, and then torture can people can break through that sometimes.
Yeah. Heck, I kind of just thought of this. Like, maybe if I'm supposed to be helping at the hospital or something, I put people under that. So it's like, oh man, I really want, like, in the sense of, oh, I'm really happy going into this surgery or into this. It's because that is legitimately a thing. Like, the happier you are, the more, I don't want to say optimistic, but the better you feel about going into surgery, and the more relaxed you are about it, the better chance that the surgery will go well. That's basically what Patch Adams' thing was about. The actual doctor, not the movie. The movie was deeply upsetting. I don't know, maybe that could be just me growing and helping at the hospital.
Yeah, when it comes to genjutsu, I don't have any as like with the ability to do it, but I have at my level I'm able to easily detect and break through most. Not like the super strong ones like the infinite Tsukuyomi or uh regular Tsukuyomi or something like that, but just like if it's a basic level genjutsu from someone, I can break through that.
Yeah, I could see that. Uh, I Do you have an ultimate attack or an ultimate combo? Because I kind of thought of one that was risky on my end.
Mine um would involve combining the water dragon specifically with my lightning techniques, so it becomes the lightning water dragon jutsu.
Oh,
It's
I'm
it's
not fighting you. Well, if this game ever becomes real, you better teach me that because I want to know.
okay. Yeah, it might be an interesting one. I just think it's would be like a AOE kind of one where it takes out a large group of people. It may not be uh the most like the Chidori is kind of my okay, I'm attacking one person. This is I'm attacking an entire nation of ninja in one go or something.
Yeah. I guess mine would be okay. We have I summon a few clones. They use the basically the I don't remember specifically what it was called, but the ice mirrors to do basically just the ice mirror. But instead of the Senbon that Haku had, I would have my swords. They'd be some of them would be slashing, but other them would be like firing sound waves, and I would come through and slice it. But the only downside is I hear all of that, and my hearing is messed up for a good bit. I want to add some drawbacks. As I slice through it, it explodes, and my ears start being like, oh god. No. Sakura! Alright, she's dead.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like an interesting one, and yeah, it's almost like, how to put it? The sound of the ice is a really interesting combination, just because I'm trying to figure out the best way of how I want to describe what I'm thinking about your jutsu.
Yeah, I like I said, I wanted something a little different. And I'd like to think that I'd be similar to Deadpool in some cases. Like, I'd be known for messing with people. Like, if I ever froze somebody... They have phones in Naruto, right?
They have, like, those earphone things. And I guess they, at least in Boruto now, they have, like, cell phone level stuff.
Let's just say it's just a regular camera. They have cameras, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to think that if I ever froze my opponent, whether they're completely frozen or just part of their legs are frozen, I'd just walk over and take a selfie. He's like, come on, smile, come on, smile for this, come on. Alright, thanks. Now I have to kill you.
That's an interesting combination, and it seems like it'd be the person who then comes for a big fight, and you get very serious all of a sudden.
Yeah. The second a friend gets hurt, that's when I'm like, okay, I'm not messing around here. Even if I lose my hearing because of my last technique, I'm doing this. I don't care what happens.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's... As I said, I mean, I was trying to figure out something for the shadow possession and stuff. Yeah, if I had an ultimate attack with that, it would be the Flying Thunder God combined with Shadow Stitching, because I think that's the most powerful of the three main.
I think so, yeah.
So
but
using...
As you say Thunder God, I keep thinking, oh, Kirin. I'm like, oh, no, that's completely different. Never mind.
No, I teleport like right behind them and instantly already have the Shadow Stitching Jutsu going into effect, where it's just pulling them as almost apart. If I remember correctly.
As long as you do the poses Shikamaru would do in the games where he just make them look like idiots. As long as you were willing to do that.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe. Depends on the event.
Who wins between us in the tuning exams? I'm gonna be honest. I think you beat me, but I don't think it's nearly. I think it's closer than people think.
I think it ends almost exactly like Shikamaru and Tamari's one ended. I win, but I still surrender myself in the end. I'm just like, but
I don't want to fight anymore either. And you're like, I know. That's why I did this. And I'm like, you suck. And I feel like I would like a mode where our characters could go on missions together, since we're both good with water style.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting combination. It might end up hurting each other. We'd probably end up hurting each other at first, but we'd end up being like good friends in the end.
That's kind of how we became friends in the first place, though. We hurt each other, but we're like, this could have been worse.
Yes, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything really.
I mean, I still think out of all the jutsu we listed, mine are the best because of the frilled neck lizard jutsu, or whatever that's called. I think that's the best one.
I have a feeling my character. The first time I see it, you use that against me in the tuning exams, and then which causes me to back off, and then the next time I see it, it's like a few years later, and we're just on a random mission together for both of our villages, and it's just like you start doing it. It's like I just go.
You want to know what was another really underrated technique though? Jiraiya's needle Jizo thing, where his hair got all spiky.
Did we ever learn what Jiraiya's last name was for what his clan was? Because I can't remember it off the top of my head.
It was no, it just says Jiraiya. I mean, to be fair, more than half of his techniques are in the Uzumaki clan, even if it's not specifically through Naruto, but...
He's the heir of the Ogata clan.
Okay, I didn't know that.
At least that's what this says, so...
What's it like? Is it a specific site that you know of, or is that's just somebody saying it?
Looks like it's pulling from the Naruto wiki, but I don't know if it's a good one or not to use in this case, so I'm not going to believe it 100%.
I was about to say, my character sounds very similar to Jiraiya, and I'd like to think that maybe that's a good thing.
Could be. In all honesty, yours has his own quirks. Instead of, it doesn't sound like he's pervy unless you're planning on making him pervy, but...
No.
So he has his own quirks, but still, I mean, just like Jiraiya, when he finds out what they're after, what the issue is, he gets serious, like when we saw his final fight against Pain and all that.
Yeah. Honestly, that could be a huge weakness for me too. If somebody does get hurt or killed, I just lose it. And so, look, I didn't want to get into it too much, but there's this arc in Gintama where the three main characters they're pretty horrible to each other sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, one of them ends up getting hurt, and basically almost killed by one of the bad guys. That's Shinpachi. He almost gets killed because of it, and Kagura's like, let him go, stop. And the second he's about to die, she just snaps, and she goes ballistic over it. I'd like to think that maybe it's not blood-related for me, but it would be a case of, oh, alright, hey, you mess with my friends, so you have to die. And somebody would have to hold me back, like, we need him alive, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I have a feeling that, with my character, he takes a lot of, as I said, with him being a student of Kakashi, he takes the mindset of those who abandon the mission are scum, but those who abandon their friends are worse than scum. But he's the kind of guy who, okay, fine, I've saved my friends now, I'm going to complete the mission, and I run off on my own all the time, which isn't necessarily the best thing, but I just run off to try to complete the mission so that we do both in the end.
Mission, go help Richard. I'm like, no, because I really hurt my ankle just now, and he's got this. He's good. Oh, people are gonna be so hurt when they're like, oh, they're not choosing the Sharingan. Because everybody and their mother would choose it. That's the problem for me.
Yeah, and as I said, story-wise, I'm already disappointed because, let's see, there's at least 2 people that have that use it who are Uchiha besides Sasuke and Sadara. So it's like, okay, so they weren't the last. They just decided that this one was kidnapped by Orochimaru and this person is some random person.
Yeah, I just realized, because I thought about using the Hatake like Kakashi's clan. I'm like, oh, that's right, he doesn't have any kids. And I doubt that's changing anytime soon, based on all I've heard.
Yeah, I haven't...
But half the stuff he's stolen.
Yeah. I don't know. That's an interesting clan, but they're not known for anything really unique, because we never followed a story with his father, which would have probably revealed any like clan-based jutsus or anything. And Kakashi, everything was based on he had the Sharingan. So,
yeah. Like I said, like we said, an anthology series on these characters would be really cool. But like I said, as much as I love Kakashi, I'd rather like other characters, like more Anbu members, or the Sound Village, or
I would love to see like something that was tell the story of his dad. You don't have to go to the suicide, but what was the mission that led him to be considered a failure, and watch him still decide that to save his team over the mission and all that, and revealed like the creation of those who abandon the mission are scum, but those who abandon their friends are worse than scum.
Well, doesn't that have to do with like Lady Chio from the Sound Village? Not the Sound. I have the Sound Village on my mind. The Sand Village. Doesn't she have to do with that somehow?
There's a mission that's he's involved in. That's why she tries to kill him. But I think that's like a successful mission. It's no, it's like a mission to retrieve intelligence or something, that he chooses to save the team instead of the intelligence, and it leads to other members of the village being killed instead.
I want to talk more about the types of missions we could go on in this game, but this isn't really the time. But this isn't really the time for that, because I'm gonna be honest, I miss playing new Naruto games. Shinobi Strikers came out like what, 4 or 5 years ago,
and it wasn't great.
That's the crazy thing. Now, it's legitimately fun. I enjoy playing Shinobi Strikers, but there's only so much I'm willing to pay for DLC for a game that I'm liking, but it's not complete.
I may need to give it another shot. I've got several games that I haven't played yet, so
I think it's free on the store or something like that. I don't remember specifically what they said you can and can't do, but I recommend it, because I do think it's gotten better, but I'm at the point where it's like, okay, what's next?
Alright, at this point, knowing what games we usually get, it'll probably be something with just the main series of characters, and they'll be Boruto at this point, so.
I mean, the worst part, compared to I would give Naruto a pass for that, because like we've only gotten one game that's told the full story up to Boruto. It's not like Dragon Ball where it's like, oh, you played to the Blue Saga for the 18th time. I'd give Naruto a little bit of a pass for that, because if I recall, I think Storm 4 was done before the anime was done, but I could be wrong on that.
Well, the manga was at least complete at that point when that one came out.
Yeah, because I just remember it being kind of like people are like, oh, well, is the anime going to be like this? Because I feel like I remember playing and finishing the game before we watched the final episode, but I could be completely wrong. Everything's kind of a blur nowadays.
Yeah, as I said, I kind of would want something that's like a unique story like the old Uzumaki Chronicles, where I mean, there's some customization. If you enhance that where you're creating your own character, it's your story of your missions and stuff, that would be really cool, and it'd be unique. Maybe it plays in the background of the Ninja War, so you're taking care of other stuff, but I don't know. I've watched the anime. I don't need to know the story again and play the story myself.
Exactly, and like I said, I want to learn sound techniques, because sound techniques are cool.
Yeah. We keep asking, and maybe, well, if this is anything like some of our old videos, we'll get something kind of like what we wanted.
Nope, it's the number one rule of being a fan of anything. The people you ask will give you what you want, sort of, kind of. And in their defense, it's not like this. It's not like, I can't imagine this is easy. So I'm not going to ride on them and scream and complain. This is, like I said, this is just a dream scenario where anything can happen, well, within reason. Because I'd like to think that if I was in the Naruto world, I could do pretty well for myself, maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah, I'd like to think I could use wind and ice and sound, and potentially almost lose my hearing because of some of my techniques, but still do the right thing in the end, and maybe I could turn Dosa's life around if he's still around after teaching me his stuff.
Alright, but do you have anything else you really want to talk about your character?
I don't think so, no.
Alright, I'm kind of in the same boat. I think we covered pretty much everything.
Yeah. I had a lot of other jutsu, but I'm like, at that point, you're just listing off stuff, so let's...
Yeah, as I said, Chidori, I don't have maybe all of the versions, but I have some of the techniques that you can learn from it.
Yeah, and I'd like to think we could do this with other anime. Like, I guess the best one for us would be Dragon Ball, because we don't watch a lot of the same stuff anymore.
We could do that, and we could talk about possibly Black Clover. I've seen enough to probably know some of that.
I could definitely do that, but as I would want to do a proper amount of research for that, because it's a little different.
Yeah, we'll talk, and maybe this will become a regular kind of series for us, something different.
Oh, also, I just realized I could technically do Fairy Tail too, because somebody gave me some. Somebody told me, "Oh, here, this is your Fairy Tail magic." I'm like, "Oh, cool."
Nice. Okay.
So we will keep our first Fairy Tail themed video. It should go horribly.
Of course it will.
Yeah, but are we ready to close out?
Yep.
Okay, so ladies, gentlemen, and others, if you were in Naruto, what type of clan would you be in? What would your specialties be? Strengths, weaknesses, different types of jutsu, summoning, just anything. We felt like doing something different this time. And in all honesty, if you say you want to be an Uchiha or a Hyuga or a Rinneganian, honestly, it doesn't matter. We all just want to have fun. We've all thought to ourselves, what would we be like in these anime? We've all thought that sort of thing. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. I mean, heck, I considered all three of those, but decided that I didn't. They're too obvious choices.
If you had said, "Oh no, I'm going to have all three of these," I would have hung up on you in the instant. Like, this is not going to work.
Yes, I'm. God, what's their clan? The bunny. Whatever. I don't care anymore.
Yeah. But just let us know. Let us know if you like these types of videos, and let us know what series you would like to do. Because we can't just do we couldn't do another Naruto one. We'd have to do like other stuff.
And maybe we'll, as I said, we've talked about possibly revisiting video game and what we want of it. So we may do that video.
It's just so depressing when we get almost none of that. But like I said, it can't be easy on their part, so I can't jump on them for it.
Exactly.
But anyways, just let us know, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time. This has been Alex.
And Richard.
And you have been listening to the Anime Egotists. Good night, and peace easy.